Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Robertson, Trent, Gabriel and White are the top 5 players in terms of predicted points for the next 5 game weeks. Will you be owning them? In this video, we talk best premium defenders. Definitely some of these ones are going to be on the list, if not all of them. We'll go through and discuss the pros and cons of bringing them in, pros and cons of spending that sort of money on a defender, because the players we're looking at are going from 6 million all the way up to 7 million. So some really expensive options. Let me know what you think in the comment section below as we go through the video, and let's get into it. G'day mate, welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another FPL video. So like I said, in today's video, we're going to be going through the best premium defenders that you can bring in ahead of game week 1. So to start the season, you want the players that are going to have good fixtures, that have performed well in the past, but these players are premium defenders with the amount that is costing forwards and midfielders this season, with Haaland at 15 million, Palmer at 10.5, Saka 10 million. Potentially there's not going to be enough room to have a premium defender as well, but in this video we're going to be discussing all of that, whether it's worth it. And we'll start off with the most premium defender there is Trent Alexander-Arnold. He has dropped in price though since last season, so he was 7.5 last season. He's come down to 7 million this season. Last season didn't really have a great season, to be totally honest with you. He scored 3 goals, 5 assists, which is not bad for a typical defender, but a defender that is priced that high, yeah, it's not great, to be totally honest with you. He did only play 28 times, which he did have a few injuries. He started 25 of them, so still a decent amount that you probably expect more from Trent. Shots, he's still having quite a lot of shots, 47. Shots in the box, 15. His expected goals and expected assists are around the same as he got. For me though, with the fact, is Trent worth it? Is it worth bringing in Trent for game week 1? It kind of depends on your team structure. If you can afford Trent, obviously Trent is a great option, and especially with Liverpool's first few fixtures, Trent is an even better option. So Ipswich away, Brentford at home, Man United away, Forest at home, Bournemouth away. So some really, really good fixtures in there, especially playing obviously the newly promoted side first off. Then you've got Forest and Bournemouth at home, and you've got 3 home games in the first 5. So really, really nice touch there to have Trent in your team. One thing though, one caveat I'd say is Trent hasn't really played well under any other manager but Jurgen Klopp. At England, he hasn't really done great. Obviously, he's been played out of position at time, but so hasn't really done good under another manager. I can definitely see him doing well under Arne Slot, but for me, it's just a little bit too expensive for the fact that it is a new manager, it's new territory, it's a new system. I'd probably just wait and see with Trent, but if you do have the money, I think 7 million is a decent price. If you look at it as a 7 million midfielder like Eze, for example, I think I'd probably rather Trent if Liverpool are having a good season, because you're going to get goals and assists for it, and you're going to get a clean sheet potential as well. So if you do have the money, I don't mind Trent, but I'd probably be looking at him as a 4th midfielder option, because he is around that sort of price point. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll get on to the next player. Next up, you've got the second most expensive defender in the game. That's 6.5 million. It is Arsenal's Benjamin White. So had a really, really good season last season. Sorry, it feels weird saying Benjamin, but really good season last season. 4 goals, 5 assists. Arsenal, obviously one of the best defence in the league last season. Had a really, really good defence, and I expect the same from them this season. They've only added to that with Calafiori, and yeah, I can definitely see them being very solid defensively. He is cheaper, well, he is more expensive than his counterparts, who we'll be discussing later. So he is the most expensive player in the Arsenal defence. Do I think it's warranted? Probably, because he is a more of an attacking threat. 4 goals, 5 assists is a very decent return for a right back that is not really an attacking right back, I'd say. He's got threat from set pieces as well, and obviously he does get forward. The thing with Arsenal though is, I do like Ben White as an option. I'm just not sure he's that attacking to spend 0.5 million less than Trent on him, if that makes sense. I think Trent is worth the extra 0.5 million over someone like Ben White. But don't get me wrong, Ben White is a solid pick. You know you're going to get at least, 15 clean sheets next season, which is pretty good if you ask me. Wolves at home, Villa away, Brighton at home, Spurs away, City away. That's another thing to consider. The fixtures are pretty bad for Arsenal in the first 5. 3 away games at Villa, Spurs and City. So it's not the best. For me, 6.5 million, I'd wait till after game week 5 and then maybe bring in an Arsenal defender or even someone like Ben White, because them first 5 fixtures, okay, Wolves at home, you could see a clean sheet. Villa away, that's going to be tough to keep a clean sheet. Brighton at home, okay, a clean sheet. Spurs away, tough clean sheet. City away, tough clean sheet. So for me, at best, I think you're going to get 2 clean sheets out of 5, which you could feel like that's not too bad. And you know you've got him in your team now and you can just wait and see. But for me, I probably wouldn't be bringing him in before game week 5 just because of them tough away games. Let me know what you think in the comment section below and we'll move on to the next player. So next up we have Josko Gavardio, who comes in at 6 million. The Manchester City player had an incredible end to the season. He scored 4 goals and got 2 assists, all from game week 33 onwards. So really good end to the season for him. He played 28 games last season, which is a decent amount, and probably that was mostly towards the business end of the season, which is kind of what you expect from Pep. He kind of figures out his team earlier in the season and then kind of sticks to that. But Gavardio, like I said, had a great end to the season last season, scoring them goals and getting them assists. For me though, 6 million is a little bit too much, to be totally honest with you. You could say he is probably going to start, but there is no guarantees with Pep Guardiola. He's just over 32% owned, so a lot of people thinking that he is going to start and he is going to do well. And don't get me wrong, I do think there is a chance that he does start and he does do well, because City at the left back are not really looking that great. But there is always a risk that he does play centre back if maybe City do end up buying a left back, or even Cancelo comes in and does a job. For me, like I said, it is a little bit too expensive personally, considering you can get someone like Kyle Walker for a little bit cheaper. Obviously, Gavardio is probably going to be more attacking than him, but you don't know that. He did have a great run towards the end of the season where he couldn't stop scoring, couldn't stop getting returns. And City's defence wasn't that good last season. They were pretty bad for City's kind of levels. So that's another thing I would take into consideration, is you're not really guaranteeing a clean sheet. So for me, a little bit too expensive. The City fixtures though are looking very good. Probably the first 19 game weeks, well, not 19 obviously because they play everyone by then, but the first 12 game weeks they're looking very good. They've got Chelsea away first game, which last season you'd say that's not a bad game. This season potentially. Ipswich at home, good fixture, newly promoted side. West Ham away, Brentford at home, at Arsenal at home. So not the best first 5, but the first 12 do look very good for Man City. And for me, I think there's other options to cover that City defence and get a similar attacking threat. Someone like maybe Kyle Walker for a little bit cheaper. Let me know what you think in the comment section below and we'll move on to the next player. So next up we've got Kieran Trippier, who had an incredible season, the one before the last one. He still had a very good season last season, but he was out quite a bit with injury. So he still started 26 games, ended up playing 28 times in total. He got 1 goal, but he got 10 assists. And to be honest, I feel like they all came in a row. I feel like he got at least 6 or 7 assists in a row, which is incredible. Obviously, Newcastle defensively wasn't that good last season. Trippier himself only kept 6 clean sheets. I do expect that to get better, especially now that they're not in the Champions League. I think the Champions League did play a little bit of a toll on them. Now, this season, they've strengthened as well, and I think Trippier is going to be a good option to go for, to be totally honest with you. I know he does come in at 6 million as well, so you could argue maybe some other players like Gavardio, who we've spoken about already, maybe an Arsenal defender who we're going to speak about in a bit, might be better options because they maybe come from better defensive. But for me, the start of the season that Newcastle have with Southampton and Bournemouth, for me, that does look very good for Trippier in terms of clean sheet and attacking potential. Then they play Spurs, then they've got Wolves away and Fulham away. So a decent start to the season for Newcastle. I don't mind Trippier at all. You could argue 6 million versus Dan Burn 4.5 million, 1.5 million difference. You're covering the same defence. Dan Burn can be a threat from set pieces. For me though, Dan Burn's place is always at risk if they do get a natural left back. Whereas Trippier, he's the captain. He's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet. And he is very, very attacking. So for me, I'd probably say it is worth it if you can spare out the 1.5 million and get Trippier. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll get on to the next player. Next up, we've got Andrew Robertson and Virgil van Dijk. But before we do get into that, I'd like to shout out the people that have provided these sort of graphics and helped me build my team, get ideas for transfers, get ideas for what players to bring in. It is Fantasy Football Hub. If you scan the QR code on the screen now, it will take you to the page where you can sign up to their membership. They're doing a deal at the moment. You can get your team rated by AI for free as well. And they've got loads of different tools on there to help you win your mini leagues and climb the ranks. They also do a tool where if you don't win your mini league and you subscribe to their membership, you can actually get your money back for the membership. So it's kind of a win-win. You either win your mini league or you get your money back. Obviously, there's some terms to that, but definitely scan the QR code or look at the link in the description as well. That will take you straight there. And it obviously does help out the channel. So if you have been enjoying my content throughout the last few years, if you do end up wanting to sign up to a membership, it does help me out a lot, and it will help you with your fantasy football. Even if you don't use it for, I guess, transfer tips or anything like that, it is good to know what players to maybe look to bring in if you don't use them completely for, I guess, making decisions through AI, etc. But definitely check them out, scan the QR code or check the link in the description. So now we've got Andrew Robertson and Virgil van Dijk. Robertson played less games than Van Dijk last season, quite a few less. He did get a big injury, but he did end up on 1 more goal and 2 more assists. So, which is rare, to be honest, because I think Robertson almost was tucking in to allow Trent to go forward a lot of the time. But last season, I think because Trent was out a few games as well, it did mean Robertson could attack a bit more because Joe Gomez was sometimes playing on the right, or obviously he was covering Robertson was injured. But looking at these both these players, they're both coming at 6 million. They both obviously have the same fixtures, the same as Trent. For me, I probably wouldn't even consider it, to be totally honest with you. I think you can get Trent for 1 million more, so I think just do that if you did want Liverpool cover. There is an argument to say that Robertson could be as attacking as Trent in Arne Slot's system, but there's no guarantees to that. And for me, with the fact that Trent does take set pieces, he takes free kicks, I think it's worth the extra money. With Van Dijk, I probably wouldn't go there just because, like I said, you can get Robertson and get Trent for 1 million or the same price. Other than that, yeah, not for me. Obviously, if you're struggling for money, I probably would go for Robertson, as there is always a chance that he ends up being attacking as well as Trent with Arne Slot's new system. But for me, if you're going to go Liverpool, just pay the extra money and get Trent. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll get on to the next 2 players. So next up, we have the 2 Arsenal boys, Saliba and Gabriel. I don't know why I said his name like that, but we've got both of them are pretty much nailed. I know Gabriel had a bit of a scare, whether he was nailed or not at the start of last season, but it does look like he is nailed. Whether that's going to continue into the next season, that's another conversation. Obviously, Calafiori has come in now, who plays left centre-back, so that is potentially a replacement or at least cover for Gabriel. 2 goals, 1 assist for Saliba, 3 goals, 1 assist for Gabriel. So Gabriel has the edge in terms of attacking wise, and you can see that by his shots as well on the screen. So 31 shots and 10 shots for Saliba. For me, this is where I feel like it's worth saving the money. I don't think Ben White is a that much better option than Saliba or Gabriel. I think for now, we probably have to rule out Gabriel though, because Calafiori comes in, plays on that left side. Yeah, for me, you're probably going to have to rule him out. I know he can play left back as well, which potentially that could happen, Calafiori playing left back. And if that does happen, then Gabriel probably is a better option than Saliba. But for now, I think with the uncertainty, I think probably just give Gabriel a miss. So Saliba, for 0.5 million less than Ben White, I probably would do it. I don't feel like Ben White is that much of more of an attacking threat. I know we've seen it last season where he was that much more of an attacking threat, but Saliba can get a few goals as well. The season before, he's got 2 goals, one assist in 2 seasons in a row. Ben White last season obviously had a good one, 4 goals, 5 assists, 2 goals, 5 assists the year before. So he is going to be more attacking, don't get me wrong, but that's not guaranteed to happen. It could be whoever plays left back is going to be the one going forward a bit more rather than Ben White. So it is a tough one, and I would probably save the money just because I think they can potentially match Ben White. And don't forget you've got the extra money as well. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll catch you in the next video.